cut. Okay. Can we get hair and makeup here? I mean, more like bald and makeup. Stop. The way you're positioning your head in the light, it's blinding the camera. So we're gonna get them in here and powder your head. Is there? How are you feeling? Is there anything I can do to help?
Yeah, you could make it look better. You know, I mean, it's your job to literally make my scalp look beautiful. Okay, and here you are, relying on powder instead of lights and movie magic. Who even are you?
You know what? I'm the next Spielberg, okay?
Spielberg?
And your bald head is getting in the way!
The show is about being bald.
God damn it, he's so right. Well,
Action.
You know what? And action!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Man Doozy podcast.
Yes, you know, you're probably thinking, what the hell's going on? What are they doing? What is this?
I don't know, but these cold opens just keep getting better and better.
They really do.
They really do. Oh, Jesus.
Been out of practice, right?
Yeah. Well, the word doozy means something that is extraordinary or outstanding of its kind.
And if you can't tell, we are obviously not that.
But we're like 2 light fixtures away from looking like it.
Yeah, we're a few different frames.
Couple frames.
Yeah.
Couple of filters.
Yeah, away from it.
Yeah.
This is the podcast where we are going to give you the tools you need to become successful. How do I do this? How do I do that successfully? How do I function in this certain environment and do it very well and successfully, you know?
Yeah. And the best part is we're going to learn how to be successful ourselves while you also learn how to be successful yourself, watching us try to be successful and learning from us.
And carry the one. Exactly. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. I'm Alex Bad Lighting Staub.
And I'm Kirk and Koz.
Well, what are we talking about today? The next Spielberg.
So, we have a fun guest episode.
Yes, we do.
This week.
Guest episodes are always
Guest
fun.
episodes are always great.
Always a good time.
It gets the the attention off of our dumbasses.
Yeah. It's
and
exhausting just talking to you all the time.
I could not agree more. Yeah. I hate talking to myself.
It's fun to watch.
It's a bunch of hamster wheels up here, and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
But
feel bad for those hamsters.
So one thing that we've been kind of like dipping our toe in recently is this,
tech.
the business tech world and the film world and all
Yeah.
that stuff. What a great time to do that when
in light of all the strikes, why not learn more about the film world?
Hey, you have time to talk to us.
Yeah,
Want to talk to us about what you can't do now?
Yeah, we actually. We're talking about to all these film people because they've got so much time right now.
Yeah. But this is a very exciting episode because it's a very, very specific type of profession in this world, and we are going to learn how to be a director of photography. It's very specific.
Very specific.
Very specific in the film, television world.
Yeah. If you've ever watched a movie and been like, "Whoa, that looks amazing."
Somebody was like,
someone created that. Someone created the mood lighting. Someone created the atmosphere. These are the people that make the movies look good.
They really, the magic with like film and TV sometimes it starts with them and their vision of like what are you gonna see from the lens. It's as the years have gone by, I've grown to respect so much of this behind the scenes stuff because it's as important. You know, I look forward to the future as an actor every single time that I get on a set because I learn so much just by even watching people.
And as like an actor too, from an actor's perspective, like you'll be in the scene and they'll like put a light here and like a thing over here and this over there, and you're sitting
like, what the hell is going on? But it's like,
don't move, don't move. Don't move.
Exactly.
And you're like, I feel stupid. They're like, no, you look perfect.
No, that's basically film and television. Everybody's like, this looks stupid, but it looks great.
The final product.
You're like, whoa,
you don't even see nothing.
So, Staub, I know you work in the business. Have you ever dabbled in director of photography stuff?
No, so I work in production, so I'm usually the guy that tells the DP he can't rent all the equipment that he wants to.
So that shot you want to do, you can't do
that shot you want to do, he's like, I want a big old spotlight here and a crane up here and give me 16 of these. And I'm like, nah, we'll give you a nightlight, and you got to work with that. Here's a flashlight. Go film the new Harry Potter.
I have a flashlight. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I have no experience in this. I'm an actor, you know. So I'm kind of the supplementary thing to an image if acting on film or TV, you know. And so it's a completely different world. And to be honest, it's like. Over the years, I've been like, there's so many different positions. The director of photography is different than director.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Or is director of photography?
The director looks more of like the creative and, I mean, the whole picture.
You know.
Basically, but the director of photography is specifically like, you know, making it look good, from the cameras to the lighting to you know, less worried about like, okay, is the acting good, whatever, but like, does the scene look good?
The thing that I'm looking forward to most about this episode is that there is an artistic nature to this and a technical nature to this profession and thing, and it's got me raring to go and ask questions. So what do you say we
so we obviously don't know too much about this, right? How to do this. So we brought in a professional.
Yes, we did.
Very special episode with a very special guest. He's the DP and director of Impractical Jokers, has done many episodes, and he's also the CEO of Starview Productions, okay? He's got over 20 years of experience, a personal friend of mine. I love him to death. Everyone welcome Geoff Celis.
Hey!
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Woo!
Fantastic.
Geoff, the lighting on you looks amazing right now.
It really
is.
Did you set this up? You got some beautiful natural lighting in this
How
corner.
long did it take to set this up?
Actually, no time at all, because I'm terrible about lighting myself. But when it comes to lighting projects or other things, I love doing a bang up job for other people. But when it comes to my own things, I really probably should do a better job.
He's a natural. He's a natural.
Yeah.
Good lighting just follows him wherever he goes.
Yeah. So I've worked with you personally, and have seen you, create just so many scenes on TV look so well, and just deal with everything from like a technical perspective to actually putting it all together. And it's literally how I describe, where it's like, it looks like they're just putting shit in random places, and then when you see the final product, you're like, this looks beautiful.
No,
this
I mean something
crazy.
as simple as like, if you need you're filming in the day and you need to block out the lighting from windows, and it's like, what are you doing? Or it's, that is something that.
Yeah, or it's nighttime and you need a lighting. But Geoff, let's go to you here. How did you get into all this? When did it start? Give us a little highlight
back
reel
view
here.
of
I always had an affinity towards cameras, even early on in my career. I think when I was trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do with myself as a kid, watching, I remember failing at trying to figure out when I was posed that question as a kid, I'm like, what are you going to be when you grow up? And I failed at trying to be a chef, or I was like, that's not going to fucking work. Or I don't even know if I can curse on this, but whatever.
No, you can curse.
You're fully.
You can curse, and if you don't,
at your discretion, of course.
I mean, you could curse, and if you feel like you're cursing too much, we can bleep it out. It'll be.
When I was a kid, I remember are you gonna be a doctor? I don't want to go to all that schooling. And then I was like, well, what the hell have I done with my life as a kid that would inform what I wanted to do? I remember ever since I was a little kid watching Ghostbusters, every day, and and just watching TV and films, and I was like, you know what, maybe I can be a director, or maybe I can be a DP. And I started falling in love with the idea of creating imagery. And so I remember Robert Rodriguez wrote a book called Rebel Without a Crew, and he's kind of a DP director himself and started making things by himself. And then I remember seeing Amelie and seeing the magic of Bruno de Bonel, who is the DP of that movie, making what he called fantastical realism. So it's like he was a commercial. He started as a commercial DP and ended up going into films. And you see like this amazing magical world that it's the mood that he created was amazing. And I was like, you know what, I gotta figure out what I can do to start doing that.
Just for the people who are just, everything so far is just already going over their head. Like they have no idea what even goes on in the film or TV industry. Could you dumb down, not only just for me, but just for viewers, how does a director of photography stand alone from a director or a cinematographer? What technically is the definition of being a director of photography?
So a DP or a director of photography, or actually it's interchangeable with a cinematographer. It depends on the industry also of how people are categorized based off of like whether it be reality or narrative. But a DP or a cinematographer kind of stands alone from a director as someone who's kind of has the technical prowess of cameras, lighting. Technically in movies, sound also is underneath that. So he's kind of running everything on the technical end, but also satiating everything creative from the director's point of view. So that person is pretty much kind of in films is taking care of everything technical that needs to happen. And they work well with the production designer who's now creating that world in a physical space. So I'm taking it and capturing that world, and the production designer is creating that world, however that may be. So if that helps differentiate that, I'm using lenses, lighting, sometimes it's sound, but I'm not very good at it. That's why I lean on our audio supervisor, you know him, Alex, Danny Hollis, who's one of the best in the business. And we try to create that world technically for whatever the director has in mind.
That is that I'll be honest, that was so helpful for me. Yeah. It was like literally so informative for me. It really puts in perspective. So when we'll get to these tips obviously very soon, but as a director of photography, when you were on set, I guess you were kind of mentioning versus reality or narrative, I guess, like what are your duties during the day? Like who do you have? You said mostly technical, so are there people that you are overlooking to make sure everything is lined up? What are the things that you're focusing on during a day at work, basically?
So on our show, it's a little bit different. We're a reality show. I don't know if it would be considered a reality. We're so transient how you describe it, because
you talk about jokers, it's like a hidden camera type of something, right? Yeah,
it's also
like it's more like a game show, basically.
The game show element,
very game showy, almost in some respects. Like it comes off very like situational sketch almost. It's like it's so crazy.
But all improvisation because you're working with real world scenarios. So yeah, on our show, it's very different from a normal scenario. I've been with the show since the beginning of the show. I knew the guys before the show started, and we actually had to. A DP on our show is kind of different. We also have a technical director who kind of takes care of a lot of the robotic cameras and a lot of the ins and outs. Now, when it came to the point where we had to do robotic camera as well as other like handheld cameras and lighting, our responsibility is kind of mixed. So we had to kind of differentiate a world. So I pretty much worked on everything when it comes to the lighting and lensing certain cameras, and the technical director dealt with a lot of the robotic cameras and some of the hidden camera aspect elements. So I make it beautiful. He kind of tries to capture it. We kind of work in tandem to be able to create that vision together.
And I would run the budget, and we would all fight with each other over it.
Yeah. You'd be like, you spent too much money on that robotic camera.
I need 60 camera people. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
So Staub would actually jump in, and yes, he is the person who used to say no, or has said no to me in the past, but after using a lot of doesn't understand, eventually he's like, oh, that's what the other episode was. And once I use a little jargon, Staub was like, okay.
Because I know that it's like, because I mean, we work in tandem with like, him trying to be like, okay, this is what you want, this is what I need, and I'm like, well, we only have $15, so what are we gonna so how do we do this, and I mean, we always but I'm able to figure things out so that you guys are able to not be so strained on what you need to accomplish there.
Alex, you're a huge advocate, and you may seem like you're trying to be a stonewaller of things, but honestly, you're integral to making everything work. So I as much of a hard ass as you look, you really help us out. So.
I appreciate that, because it's I mean, I'm just trying to make it work too. Everyone's got. I'm just doing my job.
We're all just trying to make it work. Is there anything that
I also understand, what you guys are trying to do, and there's. It's sometimes when the departments work with each other, everyone's so separate, and people need to learn to put themselves in others' shoes, to really just like be like, okay, I know why you're asking for this. Let me see what I can do, instead of like, no, you typical DP asking for blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
I knew that we would get along as soon as once we started going back and forth about what we can or can't do, going out for a beer and being like, all right, yeah, I'm going to get along with Staub. Austin, who just wants to have a couple of beers at the end of the day. Yeah, we'll figure everything out. So,
So I think that's a great place
and
for us.
And if I was annoying or adding pressure, it was just because I wanted to get paid that week. So I don't really,
So I think without further ado, we kind of jump into these tips. So Geoff has provided us the top 5, right?
Yeah,
top 5 tips?
The top 5 tips on how to be a director of photography, and how to kind of work in this day and age as a DP as well. I did have a separate random question though. As like any artist, when they kind of walk around, they see like, the world kind of like, gets at them through like their art a little bit. Have you ever like, walked into a restaurant or like Starbucks or like, anywhere and like, oh, the lighting in here fucking sucks?
I have. It's one of those things where, but the funny thing is that is like 90% of what happens whenever we have to scout for Impractical Jokers. Mm-hmm. So, and that's the other thing too, is like most of the time in Impractical Jokers, we're not trying to make it look very well designed. If anything, we're trying to make it look as realistic as possible. So when we walk into a space, most of them are lit shittily. I don't know how to say that another way. I mean, a normal restaurant is usually dimly lit because they're trying to create a mood. Or if you go into the supermarket, everything's high and bright because you want customers to buy things, and it's with these ugly fluorescent lighting. So you have to kind of try to sculpt and do things that's good for camera, but a lot of it is the way that I light is such an unusual way of lighting, because I have to design in a way that makes it look good for camera, but I also have to make it look realistic for people who are walking through spaces. Now, when we go into studios and do punishments, or if we do something more specialty, I get to have a lot more creative flair. Like when we did an episode, I can't even say the guest's name yet because I don't think they're out yet. But we've gone into the studio and created like these crazy game show ideas. Or like with Brooke Shields, we had to create a dating show. So you get a little bit more freedom, and had a lot of fun in the past couple of seasons to be able to really have fun with lighting and really stretch my ability as a DP.
I think this is a great place to start with the top 5 tip.
Well, let's do it then. Woo!
Segue.
Let's do it then. Number 5, everybody. Here are the top 5 tips. Number 5, tell a story with light. Not only what's appropriate for the scene, but use light whether it be artificial or natural, colored or shaped, to add to what's trying to be conveyed. Yeah. I mean, you know, whenever you're out, like at a restaurant or something, and like the lights go dim or like certain things, it's like, oh, we're setting the mood, right?
Yeah.
Always trying to set the mood, and that's what you guys do.
So Geoff, on the inverse of what you were just talking about, has there also ever been times when you walk into some place or you're outside and you see some like image or lighting and you're like, I need to take a photo.
Yeah.
I need to remember this for reference. Do you ever experience that?
So much to the chagrin of my wife, actually, is like, and anytime I'm socializing with my DP or cameraman friends, I'm constantly doing it. So like every time it's magic hour, you'll see it with also photographers and other cinematographers.
Oh yeah,
Kind of obnoxious. We'll be like, oh my God, it's magic hour. You gotta get that backlight. It's this gold. For those who don't know what magic hour is, it's this golden hour of light where the sun is almost setting and has this very warm quality, and also the angle is low enough to get this side light that is always very dramatic. So in most movies, it's really cinematic to shoot a magic hour shot. And yes, it's also very obnoxious for the loved ones of those people. So
Oh yeah. Throughout,
Wait, stay right there.
Literally-
I need to take a photo of you in this magic hour lighting.
Jose, show us a magic hour right here. Literally throughout my like 10-something years in this industry, like sunrises and sunsets are literally porn for camera guys.
Yeah.
They love it. They love it.
you get really nerdy too when a recent one that's become popular is called the blue hour. It's the hour after sunset, and this is very A24. This is very it's a bluer light that happens. It's past twilight, and it's this blue cast. So you'll see like Euphoria has a lot of that blue cast. So blue hour is actually a very popular trend to film in now. It's a little bit darker, it's a little bit moodier, but that's kind of a new style. But yeah, that's a little nerdy term, blue hour. That's popular nowadays.
yeah.
I love it. It is wild. I mean, when you are on a set or you speak to people who work in film and television, every single department is in ways trying to tell a story.
Yeah.
Telling the story with set, telling the story with lighting, telling the story with the framing, telling the story with the money, with the money that that nobody's gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
And hopefully the story's good enough that like you want to show it to people afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Well, let's move on to
Yeah,
the top
move
4
on.
tip.
Yeah.
The top 4 tip is work with amazingly talented crew and trust or empower them to be amazing. Treat people well. This should be a life goal. Diversity and talent is key and are important to Geoff, who has provided this tip. Your perspective and demeanor on set is paramount, and a diversity of people not only gives you a better chance at problem solving unique and unusual problems, but you are also giving opportunity in a space that has been less diverse in the past. That's huge. Yeah.
I've always said who do you want to hang out with for 14-12 hours a day?
Because those are the days for you guys. That's a work day.
And that's why I've literally personally just tried to become the person that's like, would I want to hang out with me for 12 hours and deal with stuff? And like that's like something important that I've always strived on. And the Joker's crew, you guys are we could hang out. It's almost like when we stop working and start drinking, we're like, did we work today? It's like we have so much fun.
It's the best thing on our show ever, Staub. It's because even before you came, that was a goal of the guys early on, was to make sure that we hire and keep people who are amazing to be around. And not only that, like it not only encourages camaraderie, but it makes everybody want to be better for the production. I found, just as a Filipino person in the industry, I want to have diversity, whether it be other Asian people, Black people, Spanish people, anything, or more women in the technical departments. I appreciate diversity in our departments. And I think that we've worked hard to be able to give opportunity. One, you have to be talented, you have to be really good at your job, and after that, if you have some sort of diversity background, cherry on top, that's amazing. But I always found with a lot of other technicians, to have a diverse crew just helps. And again, yeah, we want to hang out. So number one, can you hang? Like,
can you hang? That's basically it. Can you hang?
Like we've been on road trips. You know, back in the day, we used to do a lot more traveling on the show. And if you were a stick in the mud while we were on this crazy travel shoot, then you should not be with us.
Yeah. No, especially on travel shoots. I mean, I've been on travel shoots where like crew members are difficult. And you're just like, I'm not enjoying myself. How do I get rid of you? And, you know, but so that's number one for sure.
Oh my God, it's the worst. It's like when you're stuck in a place and you're not seeing your family and you're stuck with people that you don't want to be around. It's the worst. Yeah. But again, like now I've, one of my best friends on the show, Danny Hollis, we've been friends for like 12, 13, 14 years now on the show. And it's like, I get to hang out with my friends and work with them. And I want to kill them sometimes because we're in the shit together. But that also, you know, production is a big trauma bonding experience. So we're all like stuck together in these worst case scenarios sometimes, but it's also the best case scenario. So Stockholm syndrome in an amazing way. I don't know if you can say it that way.
Yeah, basically. And you know, but also like when there is someone in the group that's just not vibing or working, you know, you got to get rid of them. I mean, you know me, Geoff, I love firing people. And like, I mean, if there's like if it's someone's first day or whatever, it's like, if you can't keep up or hang, then like, you know, that's strike one there, and strike one's all you get. Goodbye. And I'll walk around and be like, you like this person? And I'll be like, no. And I'll be like, all right, get rid of him. I'm good. We want to get shit done, you know. But like, even with all the PAs, like, I mean, you know, me and Ashley, my coordinator, who's incredibly talented, and you know, I needed her the whole time. We literally boiled it down to like the perfect, like, you know, PAs that, like, you know, after trimming all the fat.
I still keep in contact with so many of your PAs. You did such a good job that I socialize with a bunch of them outside of the show, at least just via social media when I can. I'm a father now, so I'm not socializing anymore. But through social media, I get to live my social life fortuitously through their Instagram accounts. But they're amazing people, and they're unbelievable technicians as well. So you did a great job, and it's so
Geoff, one of my follow-up questions to this importance of surrounding yourself with people that are talented, are good at what they do, and also just like know how to hang. Where, like, of course, you all have such a leg up because you have this production, this team that has been together for years, and been able to kind of bring this crew together. Where, for like, you're starting a project, of course there's networking and stuff, but who's the lead on? Would it be a production manager? Like, as a director of photography, do you have say in, like, I need this person in this role because they're really, really good at...
Well, that's where, like, there's...
I'm literally asking because I don't know.
No,
like, how do you guarantee that you have like the good crew?
It's kind of like, you know, a council where like it's all the production heads come together.
The council of the production.
The council of the production. We wear robes and masks.
Robes and masks.
Robes and masks.
You do sit in a circle and a.
Yeah, we all come together, and it's
you meet
like,
in the cave.
Yeah. And Geoff will be like, I need a spotlight from the baseball field.
And
I'm like, no, we can't do that. And then the sound guy would be like, I need this. And we all literally like, just like, it's like all of us are like trying to build this like thing, and we all put in like our own pieces to build the whole thing, if that makes sense.
I love that.
It is a fellowship, and it really does.
We sacrifice people. It's a cult.
The fellowship of the jokers.
It's a fellowship.
Yeah.
The PAs are the hobbits. Yeah.
Yes, it's pretty crazy. No, I want to say that we do a pretty good job, Staub, where it's a balance of like resources. If I have somebody in who's not available, or if you sometimes know people that I don't know, it is really like a collective effort every time.
Yeah,
gotcha.
we all work together
as a fellowship.
Yeah, there's not one person going blah blah blah, blah like a dictatorship. It's a council.
It's Rivendell, and everybody's like, you have my lights, you have my cameras, and my axe,
my petty cash.
And my petty cash.
Our audio supervisor, Danny Hollis, does have a odd similarness to Frodo. So
yes.
There's one guy in the corner.
Bilbo, maybe.
There's one guy in the corner. One cannot simply light whole foods that way.
Yeah. So and within that, I'm Sauron for sure. Oh yeah.
Everybody's trying to get past you.
I'm the big eye that's like looking around Mordor like, what are you doing?
What are you doing over there? You're fired.
That's right.
Amazing. Well,
let's take a little break.
All
right. We got to fix the lighting in here.
Yeah, it sucks. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
I hope you're enjoying and getting educated and stuff.
You look great. Maybe it's
in
just
that
the lighting.
Maybe it's just the lighting.
Or maybe you look good.
Maybe the framing of the shot. But
probably.
Look great.
Yeah,
they really do.
Whatever. It's the fellowship has come together to
the
make
fellowship
you look
has really done their thing to make you look good.
And it also takes a fellowship to do this podcast.
Yes, it does.
And if you want to see us, we're on YouTube. We're on every audio platform. I mean, think of one. We're on it, okay?
But the most important, the party is at Instagram. That's where we have all our content.
That's right.
It's our announcements, our episodes, our links. And then also, it's a place where we have our brilliantly edited trailers that just give you a little taste each week about what you're about to see.
Yeah, and our editor, Jose, puts them together. But most importantly, he puts up with us, okay?
Yeah.
And he puts he puts it all together for us.
Does.
And he makes it look amazing.
Who, you know what? I would like Jose to weigh in because he's a jack of all trades too. He writes, he edits, he directs.
He does
he
it
does
all.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
I would like him to say to let us know, how are you enjoying this episode? Do you have experience in director of photography? And who are you in the fellowship? What Lord of the Rings character in the fellowship are you?
Good guest, bad host. I have no idea what a DP does. I'm learning while I edit this video. And I'm Aragon because, well, I'll let y'all see that. Back to you.
Interesting choice. Interesting.
Gollum.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Wow. All right, well, let's get back because
there's work to do. We only have 15 more hours in the day.
Yeah.
And we have hurry up, wait, baby.
We're good at our jobs, but we can't hang. The vibe here sucks, so we gotta make it more positive.
Also, you're fired.
You're fired.
We'll see you on the other end.
We're back.
Get all right. Places.
How's my bald head? Does it look good?
You know, it looks stunning. I'm so sorry. I forgot that what we were filming was about bald people.
Right. I've actually been on the show a couple of times, and Geoff had to light my bald head personally because I'm like the only bald guy.
Funny.
I was going to mention that. I actually remember doing a scene with Joe and Bergio, and then we actually, some of my favorite lighting has been on that bald head of yours.
Yeah.
It was a great scene. Did it come out already, or I don't know if it.
That was the one. I don't know if I could say the celebrity, but that was the one with the PA, right? Those are the initials, I guess.
Well, it was an Italian restaurant was a scene.
Yeah. Italian restaurant. It was the scene. It was a fake, like a fake film set, and we got someone off the street to like be like an extra in the movie, and they were like, okay, yeah, and they got on. And they would get on, and they were like, they were just supposed to be an extra in the back, and then they were like, "Oh, can you just read a couple of these lines? It's a quick scene, blah blah blah." And they were like, "Okay," but the director was one of the Jokers, and so they would make them do like certain cues, and like it was, but the scene was me and Joe and Bergio, we were mafia guys, and and I ate food and I got diarrhea, and then I knocked out some teeth from the extra, and then Bergio got choked to death, and it's a funny scene. We got it. I hope it airs soon, because that was a good one.
It's definitely one of my favorite. We were trying to replicate light from like Goodfellas or Marvelous Soul, and it looked like a great dinner scene. And Staub, you killed it in that scene.
It was good. It was cool having them in my ear and telling me what to do.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's so cool.
But I know while I was sitting there and you guys were setting up, I know that you guys were like in the back and you were like, "How do we light Staub's giant bald head here?" And you did great.
You know what? You like, there are a lot of strategies, and Mike Gaffer, and he's a DP in his own right, Tom Vanelli, as well as Eli, were working really hard, doing a great job with a lot of suggestions for that bald head. So luckily, again, amazingly talented crew, doing a great job.
It was cool to watch because they used the light from my head to light the rest of the restaurant. He just put a bunch of bounce boards around me and then just shot it out. It was My eyes! All right, well, let's get back into the tips here. I'm having a blast here.
We're in the top 3 tips, everybody.
But if we go too long, Jose hates us, and he won't deliver the ring to Mordor.
Yeah.
So... The number 3, everybody. Number 3, experiment with things, okay? Techniques. Find the right gear or technicians to each specific shot. Geoff is a gear and technology head, so when it comes to new tools or rigs or even apps or privies or scouts, he loves seeing the new innovations. Yeah, you got to be like a gearhead almost and be like, "Oh, the new light came out. What can I? How much is it? Can I implement it? In
what
like
can
the
you do
next,
with it?
Like shoot, yeah. Pan and tilt, lighting heads, stabilizing camera rigs or post-production stabilizers, or Previs. I said privies, which is privies, which is a toilet,
which is a toilet in the medieval times.
Or the Privies Pro, okay. Yeah, exactly.
Professional privies, Privis Pro.
Yeah, there's been so many times where Geoff will be like, "All right, here's the list of what we need," and the camera world and like the tech and all, it's literally a different language to me. I care.
The T69 1000 with the
the
blue A with 729 frame. Yeah.
I need the new China balls with the hydrodynamic spatula and the turbo. I'm like, okay, yeah, and then it literally makes no sense to me. I just go right to the bottom and be like, no, no, too pricey. We need it though. I'm like, no, you don't. The gizmo plate, blah blah. You know what I'm talking about. I'm like,
one of my favorite things actually is watching your eyes glaze over as you start. You look at gear lists that we send you. You're like,
Yeah.
You know it too, because even on set he'll come up to me and be like, "Oh, we need the new gimbal 3000." I'm like, "All right, just fucking get it. I don't know what that is.
Just get it."
And they're like, "What is he getting?" I was like, "I don't know, a gumball machine. I don't know what the fuck is." Oh, it's so good.
he said he needed it. So get him the gumball machine.
But that's also how you guys get away with sneaking in some new stuff and trying out some new stuff too. So it's I get it.
You got to be savvy.
Yeah.
You know, it's an opportunity, and every time that you do approve it, it actually works out in a benefit in many different ways. One is that you know, your crew is getting better, you're learning more, and a lot of times with like I try to research things that are actually really useful and really appropriate, then it ends up being way better and way easier of a process than ever before. So there are very few times where any of your approvals that we were able to get has worked in the negative. So if with every job now that it's kind of a thought process, try to utilize something different. It doesn't have to be expensive. It just had like constantly using new ideas and new perspectives on how to do things, I think is really important, and it has helped me grow. And that's the point of it all, right? Is just trying to get better at what you do.
Yeah, you got to be able to adapt.
Yeah, you have to adapt, because it's kind of like, you know, when the new iPhone comes out and you're like the first one to try it out and figure and know how to use the new iPhone, because that's when everyone's gonna be.
And then you're like, oh, it's the same.
Yeah, you don't want a DP with you know, the iPhone 3 when we're all on the 12. You know what I mean? And you're like, huh? Yeah. You need to know the newest equipment.
Unless it's appropriate. Sometimes that iPhone 3 look is a thing that you want.
And then it's like, who knows how to operate this? And then, yeah. Hell yeah. All right, well, let's move on. Yeah.
We're moving on to the top 2 tip, which is don't underbid what's necessary. This comes with experience. Do research and get what's the best gear for the job. Oh, so underbid. Well, you just like, well, what do you mean by that? Like underestimate
what you need? Like don't
So I have a tendency personally, as a person who is wants to appease people like Alex Staub, and I try to. I'm a people pleaser, so I always try to make my numbers smaller. But what ends up being the case is every time you try to limit the things that you need, you tend to put a crunch on, especially your staff underneath you, not only yourself, you're starting to stress everybody else out. So really, I think thinking ahead and thinking appropriately for what's needed for jobs, because there's always constant pressure from the top up or whatever, to be able to save money. But I think that pricing a job appropriately is an important skill for a director of photography or any technician. Whenever a client is asking for something, they're asking for your expertise. So you really should not be afraid of asking for something that might be expensive, especially if it's appropriate. So don't underbid is something that, especially for those people pleasers out there, to really remember not to do. Things are appropriate. You need certain people, you need certain tech, you need certain equipment, and I think it's really important to do the things that are appropriate to help that vision that you need. Again, there are compromises that you need to make, but underselling yourself definitely hurts you more than it helps you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's true in life too. Like, stand by what you need.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's very well put. Yeah. Because it's always better to be able to be like, best case scenario.
Yeah.
This would be the best case scenario, and like, you know, stepping down from that if you need to, you know.
Yeah. It's always better to be like, I need these 10 things, and then being like, can we do with 8, you know? And instead of being like, okay, I can do it. I could do it in like 6 things, and it's like, nah, we need to do 4. And you're like, oh shit, I couldn't even.
I actually needed 8.
People pleasing. No, wait.
Can we start again?
Yeah.
I was a younger DP. That's something that I would do constantly, and we were always crunching. And again, because we had such a talented team, we can make things happen with very little. But man, did some of those days feel like arduous, horrible days, because you're trying to you're literally taking gaff tape and putting things together that really don't belong, and you're getting great content for shitty rigs, but other than that, it's really just a fucking horrible day. So you want to try to not do that to your people, especially yourself.
Yeah, cutting corners, it immediately adds strain to like the crew and whatever, and like just from like a production side, like I get frustrated when like, you know, you'll ask for like a camera that's so essential and it's only like $50 extra, and it just doesn't get approved. And then, like, that same day, like, the talent will be like, I want a bouquet of flowers for my girlfriend that's, like, $500. And, like, they'll approve that, and they'll get it, and then they'll never use the flowers, or, like, their girlfriend dumped them, and the flowers just getting thrown in the trash. And I just, like, just from, like, a money standpoint, I hate the justification of that shit.
It's the dance that we have to play.
Oh, I hate it.
Is this turning into a therapy session for Staub's like work life?
This entire
podcast is a therapy session. This entire podcast is a therapy session for Staub. I don't know if you've
Geoff, when did you get here?
In the corner, right off the camera.
Oh shit!
Right off camera is Staub's therapist. He tries to say he's not in therapy, but he just comes and watches that.
Well, the lighting's so bad, I didn't even see Geoff here. So,
Kirk, if you want to start talking about some of your problems, I'm here to listen. So, like, this is
okay.
So I'd like to
all right, moving on to the next tip,
the
everybody.
fact that Staub uses the podcast as therapy.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna pay for it.
No. No, it's okay. We've both been guilty of using our platform as a way to be like, this is happening in my life. Whoops.
Whoops. Yeah.
Whoops.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just on the internet forever.
It just naturally came out of me because I'm catching up with him. I love talking to Geoff, and it's always the best to like air out, shitting on work when you're not working.
Yeah.
So that's all it is.
Yeah.
And but it gives people an extra inside scoop on it. So.
Oh, Jesus.
If all else fails, excuse me.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we have now reached the final tip on how to be a director of photography.
And we're on budget.
And we're on budget.
We're on
Thank
budget.
God. We're not cutting corners.
No, this is perfect.
No. Staub hasn't ordered flowers.
No flowers.
Yeah.
But I mean, it all ties to the DP stuff, because it's all money. It's all money and technicality, So, but also what I want to mention from a DP standpoint, it's not just like setting up lights and setting the mood or whatever. You are also like doing math in terms of like electrical currents and stuff. You're like, okay, I need this light here, but I can only plug one light into there, and then I can plug two lights into there, and I need another generator over. You also have to like conduct electricity. You wizard.
Well, it's not me. Again, that's part of my team. I have a brief knowledge of the math that happens. I usually leave that to the gaffers and the electricians. So Eli Kravitz is one of my go-tos, who's an incredible gaffer as well as a DP in his own right. But their departments really have to deal with that sort of thing, and that's some of the minutia that needs to happen. But you have to understand it so you don't blow out the lights in a building that we're working on, and it's not very good for the location scouts either.
Yeah, that'll ruin the whole day for everybody.
Ruin the mood,
for
sure. Well, let's go to the number one tip, everybody.
We're
here,
almost
here we
close.
go. The number one tip: you don't need to know everything. Okay, trust your talent and yourself. Your perspective is unique. Cultivate it and run with it. Geoff is still working on it. And that's what it is.
I think that's true in all types of artistic things. You put in, I have no doubt, you are well past your 10,000 hours. It's like, at some points, you just have to trust that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that sometimes it just comes down to just the simple things of the job, what needs to be done.
It's all trial and error here. Geoff, let me ask, what's like, as a DP, what's like the greatest lesson that you've learned and like that you keep like with you whenever you go on any job?
That's a great question.
I'd have to say it is just trusting in your voice. Now, you know, there's a lot of competition for cinematographers and director of photographies, but there's only one Geoff Celis. I am a Filipino DP director who's a father from Staten Island. I feel like a unicorn once I start putting it into those perspectives. You know, I have a propensity for wacky comedy that seems to be endearing, yet...
Yeah, but don't put unicorn on your resume. Like, that'll
confuse people.
That'll confuse me.
Wait a second. It'll confuse people, and they'll be like, am I hiring
Director, DP, and unicorn? Although, but you know what? Nowadays, you can identify whatever you want. So, there you go. You're a unicorn.
It could work. Wait, what's the... Is it unicorn that's the symbol for swingers? Wait, what's the... No, it's a pineapple, right?
Pineapples, I know that from...
No, it's the upside-down
Lotus.
pineapple.
White Lotus, the pineapple room. Where, I learned that from that, I think. Because there's the pineapple room.
White Lotus, there was a pineapple? Or wait,
No, well, in that second remember, like, the really, like, trust fund baby guy who was just insufferable. He was trying to get the room, and then he finally gets the room, and it's like this pineapple room. And I remember watching or reading something that it's like, that's the swingers room.
Yeah,
like, or some type of thing. So it was kind of
This funny,
Also shot very well. Great show.
incredible show.
gorgeous. I did not... Now I just got that and understand.
I'm pretty sure if you watch back, like, yeah, where Armand takes a shit.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, it's such a good show.
Such a good show.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It's so good.
What blew my mind was the guy who wrote and directed that was also the guy who did School of Rock.
Yeah,
Mike
White.
I was like, oh shit, that's awesome.
That's imagine that too. I'm like, I only seen him in bit parts, and then he ended up writing this really amazing series. Which somebody else mentioned that each season kind of is a deadly sin that it's focusing on. So I think season 1 is about money, and then season 2 is about sex. I don't know. So that's true. It's gonna be
very cool.
Yeah, he should go.
Have you ever, and you can even say the show, Geoff, have you ever, even recently, seen any shows that, like, are really bad at DPing or, like, really good?
And then on the, yeah.
I want to say our show at one point because, like, so, like, I, as a DP too, and shooting reality, like, I remember one of the guys, like, Gatto early on saying, because like I was trying to make certain shots better, and I believe his quote to me was, "We don't have time for your student film, Geoff." And so, like, but there was a reason. Like, we talked about it later, and he was like, you know, like we like that the look of the show does like a gritty surveillance-y film look. So like if you look at the beginning of the show, it did take a nature of cinematography that's appropriate for that. You're used to seeing gritty surveillance footage, and that kind of gives reality to the story of Jokers. So like as a DP, when I want to try to get other jobs somewhere else, I'm like, I don't know if I want to show you what I've done. But like since those early years, we've grown as a show. The show has looked better and better and better, and then the creative has been much more cinematic. So like early on in our show, like we want to talk about stuff. I look at my own work at the beginning of our show, and it looked like for me, I was like, oh, this just looks terrible. But yeah, no, there's plenty of shows that have like terrible lighting, and I can't. I'm not gonna name them because I don't like to shit on other people's work. I'll shit on my own work all the time. And yes, there's a lot of shitty work that I've done, but there's a lot of great work that I feel like really proud of and grown over the years. Even the shitty work that I've done, I'm like, you know what? There's some amateur vision that I can sculpt, or new perspective on newer stuff that I've seen nowadays. But yeah, our show is probably probably.
All right. Well, what's like a movie or a show that you've watched where you just like, you know, is always just has been in the back of your head where you're just like this is how did they do that? I want to strive to figure this out, and like it's just incredible.
Or it's like inspiring for you. Yeah.
lately, I want to say, is it Roger Mullins or the DP of there's a show, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel,
Yeah.
and so it is very saturated and this landscape of period is so amazing. That DP I watch, he does a lot of photography on his Instagram account, but what he's doing as a DP is gorgeous. And I hope to do DP work like that. House of Cards was amazing when I saw that. Super intense, like. Cinematography is a place where you can appreciate so many different styles, and so you're supposed to cultivate your own voice. I'm still trying to do my own voice. I don't know exactly what my aesthetic is, but I definitely lean to a grittier look. I definitely lean to a beautiful cinematic look. It sounds so abstract, and honestly, it sounds so pretentious. So, and it's so hard to not sound pretentious as a cinematographer because you just sound like a fucking artistic jackass. But it's so true. Like you find beauty in all these different things. So,
Amen.
so many things that I like to emulate.
Well, those are the top 5. Yeah,
that brings this episode to a close, everybody.
Yeah,
that is the top 5 tips on how to be a director of photography
and therapy.
Therapy.
Yeah.
Well, everybody.
This is so. I mean, did you learn a little more? Now you know.
I did. This is so. I love these types of episodes with this pointed pointed specificity on profession, because I mean, to get on set and to look at a call sheet and be like, oh, who's the director of photography?
Yeah.
To meet them, there's so much downtime.
Yeah.
Of course, there's like this hurry up wait on the set of film and television. There's so much downtime to just kind of observe people and their jobs, and so this type of information is very exciirting for the next time I'm on set.
Yeah,
to just
and you can watch and be like, oh, I know exactly what this guy's doing now.
Because it also learning about this expands your ability to have conversations with these people too. Because I mean, you go to a random regular person party, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm a director of photography, and they're like, oh, what's your favorite movie?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's not just okay. This is my favorite, but there's specificity. There's certain things to it. So like being able to learn a little bit more, it's very cool, exciting.
It's very cool, and I'm happy that you came on, Geoff. Do you have any final words for anyone who is a DP or aspiring to be a DP? For the viewers and audience?
Know yourself, be kind to people, and really just make beautiful imagery. Just take that perspective and emulate good imagery, but also like good self vibes. Oh God, I sound like a stupid self-help guru.
Oh my gosh, no!
That's
fine.
Love it.
I love it.
I'm in therapy. This is great. No,
well,
that's what it is. Yeah,
that
awesome.
is it, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, where? One more thing. Social media. Where can we find you here?
On Instagram, you can find me at Geoff Celis. I'm on YouTube as well. You can find my channel there. And I have a new production company. You can follow at Starview Productions over on Instagram. I think that's about it. But yeah, and I'm always for hire for other things besides reality, narrative, content creation, and everything. I'm kind of dabbling in a lot of different things, marketing, commercial stuff too. So I'm just having a lot of fun right now, especially in between seasons.
Well, there we go.
Hire him, everyone, and check out his work.
Thank you so much for watching the Men of Doozy podcast. We will see you next week. And remember, if you have ideas for episodes, or if you want us to teach you something while we are also learning it, let us know.
Also, if you need therapy and can't afford it, let's talk. Let's chat.
Come on the podcast.
Come on the
Let's
podcast,
talk.
right? Exactly. Share this with your friends. Share this with your therapist. Share this with Instagram.
How to therapy. Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Love ya.